Hello and welcome to a haphazard, sleepy edition of the Cat Lady podcast. My name is Andrea, the Cat Lady. That's 2 T's, CATT, craft all the things. And I had a busy weekend, and it's Monday, August 24th, 2015, and I am a mess, and I am tired, and I got a headache, and yeah, so hoping to get through this kind of quick so I can just chill out and relax. Like I said, I had a busy weekend, and I will tell you all about it towards the end of the podcast. I don't have a ton of stuff to show today, but I do have stuff. I do have some finished things and some things. That's all the same stuff I'm working on, really. But got a couple. I got couple new things to talk about too. So. First off, I'm the Cat Lady, and you can find me on Instagram as the Cat Lady, Ravelry, the Cat Lady, Facebook group, I think it's the Cat Lady Craft All the Things in parentheses, a Ravelry group, the Cat Lady Podcast group, and please head on, especially the Ravelry group, that's usually where I do all the giveaways and drawings, and right now there's a giveaway, a craft along giveaway going on that closes soon. So if you're working on anything and you got some finished objects from the summer, you can post them in there and win a prize. On Instagram, I'd like to do a giveaway on Instagram soon too, just because I feel like a lot of giveaways happen on Instagram, and a lot of people are on Instagram, and I use Instagram a lot. So how many times can I say Instagram? Instagram. So, and then show notes, anything I talk about will be on my blog, which is thecatlady.blogspot.com. I do my best to keep those going. I think I've only missed one. I was late on one other one, but one of them I think I just never went back and put the notes in. So, but I will get the notes up. Again, I'm going to try and make this a little bit shorter. I've been running like over an hour, which from the beginning I was trying to do like 30 to 40 minutes, so. Apparently I talk a lot, so about what, I don't know. So that's who I am and where you can find me. And if you head over to the Ravelry group, there's an introductions thread, so please stop on in and say hi, and I will say hello back. So this week's introductions, we heard from Laura Claire. She's from Washington. She's been knitting since she's been 5 or 6 years old, which is really cool. And kind of hoping to teach my daughter how to knit soon. She's 5. I feel like she needs somebody else to teach her how to knit, so I might have to take her to Joann's and see if like me and somebody who's like a teacher can teach her how to knit, because I feel like she doesn't really listen to me very well, you know, like trying to show her to do things. It's like I feel like she takes better instruction from other people. So, but anyways, that was totally sidetracked. So she's been knitting for a very long time. She's in her 20s, so almost 20 years. She also spins and weaves, and she is an urban farmer. She grows like tomatoes and peppers and melons and I think she had cherry tomatoes and like a whole bunch of like fruits and veggies. Like that's so cool. I've always loved to try to garden, but I'm just so bad at it. So maybe, and I say this like about everything, maybe when the kids are in school, I'll fill in the blank. Maybe when the kids are both in school, I'll fill in the blank. Maybe when the kids are in school, I'll clean my house. So maybe when the kids are in school, I'll make a garden. But we have a lot of deer that kind of wander. We're not in any sort of rural area, but we have this small patch of woods behind our house. It's like literally a small patch of woods. It's not big, but there's deer in there, so they come in and eat my hostas in the backyard, so I can only imagine what they'll do to, you know, some vegetable garden. I thought maybe a raised garden, you know, covered garden, I don't know. So anyways, so Laura also has an Etsy shop, Laura Claire Crafts, and I'll try to put a link to her shop in my show notes. She says it's kind of limited on what's up there now, but she's trying to get it stocked up. She's got some dish towels. I think she needs to take pictures of still, but so yeah. And if you have a shop you want to talk about, come introduce yourself. Tell me what your shop is. And maybe I'll set up eventually a thread for kind of self-promotion. that might be fun. So if you have an Etsy store or you have a podcast or you have anything that you're selling your wares or whatever, maybe we'll keep that all in our self-promotion thread. If you want to offer any coupons to the Cat Lady podcast, more than willing to share your information for that and offer our listeners, seems to be a pretty common thing with amongst podcasts, getting special promos for watching the podcast or being a part of this group. So feel free to let me know. And if you need anyone to sample anything, I'm willing to sample too. So that is podcast news. I really don't have any notes. I wrote like 3 things down, so kind of winging it. But I wanted to remember to get the intro in since, you know, those are kind of important. The Catalogue Craft All the Things Along is still going on. We have 1 more week. So next week, yes, next podcast, I will be locking the thread at the first thing in the morning, and I will be drawing a winner. And right now we have 307, I think, is the last I looked, entries. Again, and there's quite a few of you that have put in like a lot of entries, so your chances of winning, of course, are higher. So a lot of bag makers. So I have a couple off the top of my head. Mystery Sewer has a lot of bags. Crafty Knitter 7, which is Sue from Two Tangled Skeins, has a lot of bags that she sells in her Etsy shop. Ugh, I can't talk today. And then Amanda from Stitching You and More also opened a new Etsy shop, so she posted a bunch of her bags, and her shop is Stitched Together 4G. So again, yes, I need to set up this self-promo thread so that we can have all the Etsy shops and other shops kind of all in one thread to check out. So yes, their chances of winning. Oh, Ange in the East, Angela has a ton of bags, so she's been knitting and this summer, so, or crocheting, knitting or crocheting or both. So yes, there's a lot of, you got a lot of competition, so you got a week. Gather up those photos. I mean, anything that was you finished between June and August can go in there. Multiple entries. So even if you think, oh my gosh, I made an awesome pair of socks in June, get them in there. Just, I mean, and that's, of course, it's an honor system. I'm just going to trust that you made them between June and August. And originally it was kind of summer themed, but we kind of like just threw that out the window. We're like, whatever you want. It's just summer knitting. Because yeah, some people knit. Like I, you know, was talking to somebody, she's like, I knit Christmas presents over the summer, like, and then she focuses on herself over the winter kind of thing. So I'm like, that's a good idea, actually. You know, get all your Christmas knitting out of the way over the summer, and then you can just relax during the holidays and knit for yourself. So, so everyone's definition of summer knitting or crafting is different. And crafting, anything, spinning. So if you've been spinning, I know a lot of you spin, so put in your finished yarn that you have spun, or weaving, if you've weaved anything, woven, weaved, I don't think that's a word, I don't know. If you've woven anything, I'm not a weaver, yet. So, anyways, we have 1 more week left, so let's get them in there. Let's make this a big one. And what you can win, I'll put a picture of it like I usually do, but it's a bag by me. A beautiful skein of merino yarn from Chasing Acorns, Kim. Pretty orange color too, I love it. I wish I could keep it. Can I enter and win too? No, I can't. A set of stitch markers, just a kind of mini set of stitch markers by me, and a little hair clip, and a $6 Ravelry credit from the Canadian Knitter Podcast, Sarah. So, yes, so whoever wins that will just have to get with me, or if you know Sarah, get with Sarah, and she will gift you a pattern for up to $6 on Ravelry. So, pretty cool. I'm going to go right into stash because I don't have much, and I don't want to, that's really all I have in my book, so I can put my notebook away after I talk about that. So, I forgot to mention last week, so this is kind of old stash, but Megan Sanders, who I knit the Grimes shawl, actually, I think it's in my bag over here. I can show it off again. I took it with me this weekend. I was out of town. So, this lovely shawl. Kind of a boomerang shawl, but does not match my top today. But anyways, I can wear it anyways. It's actually kind of chilly this morning too. Megan, I test knit this for her. I And so and then she donated the pattern to the giveaway. And so I said, hey, I'll send you a bag, because that was very nice for you to donate the pattern. So I sent her the bag, and I had a bunch of little odds and ends in there. And then she turned on, she's like, oh my gosh, I loved it. And I sent her, of course, a little cat. And she's like, my son is like obsessed with cats right now, and he loves the cat, and blah, blah, blah. So she ended up sending me another pattern. So she gifted me another pattern she's made, the Carrie shawl, which is another kind of a boomerang style shawl, and it's gorgeous, and I've been coveting it since I kind of ever since I started knitting this one and saw all her other patterns. So I kept mentioning, oh, I love that Carrie shawl. So yes, I have the Carrie shawl. So I have the Carrie shawl, and I have the Viajante, I don't know how to pronounce it. Shawl patterns waiting to be cast on. So I'm kind of eyeing my stash. I know I have something in there I can do the Carrie shawl in. So I gotta see how many yards I need, but I have my pretty Knit Picks Hawthorne, I think I can use, so that might be good for that. So, and fall is approaching. I mean, really, it's almost the end of August, so I'm gonna need some more shawls, and I'm excited to be getting some shawls done. So, and again, if anyone has an opinion on what color will look better on me, a sagey green or a burgundy for my Viajante shawl, I need to stop into Michael's this week. I was thinking of going today, but I don't know if I'm going to go today. I need to go to the library, return some books. I have a book club meeting this week, and I never even really got the book. So I think we're going to have to reschedule that. And she did email me. It's it's in the neighborhood. She emailed me. She's like, what book were we reading again? And I honestly don't really remember, so I think none of us read the book, so I don't think, I think we picked kind of a no-name book. It was hard to get a copy of it. It wasn't available at the library, so yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to have to postpone that. I don't think book club works too well over the summer. I think we're all just too busy, and I haven't read anything, so, for me at least. So it's a good winter hobby, because, I'm really just stuck inside forever, so, yeah. So, sewing, got nothing done. This thing has been sitting on mid-project for probably, I think it was mid-project when I recorded last week. And it sat there because the following week I was potty training and I got interrupted, and so here we are. We're still not getting any sewing done. Which I have swaps I gotta do. I got a bag swap, I got another swap that needs a bag, and now I have another swap that needs another bag. So I have 3 bags that need to get done, not including the one in these piles. Oh, and I have so many bags that need to get done that I'm going to set out. So luckily most of them are casual, and there's a good time frame, but I feel like I don't like them kind of hanging out like I want them done. I still didn't even finish the ones that need the casings for my daughter, the little flax bag, and so yeah, I gotta get those done. And someone's probably sending me her swap. I don't know, I'm probably getting it soon. So I really want to get hers out too. So I feel really bad for not having that done, but it's almost done. So maybe today or sometime this week I've got to get a couple bags done. So sewing is nil. Knitting, I've got a lot of works in progress, and I got a finished object. A full finished object. So last week I showed you I had 1 tube sock. Now I have 2 tube socks. I'm going to put these in the Bookish Stitchers Little Ones Knit Along. So she said anything you knit for a little one, and the definition of little one is very open. So okay, if your son's 30, it doesn't matter, it's still your son. If your little one is your dog, that's fine, it's your dog, it's your little one. So, but this is for my daughter. So these are my Paw Tracks tube socks, which I think turned out quite lovely. I am a little concerned about the slipperiness of she's clumsy, she's 5. So I'd like to, I don't know, I'd like to put something on the back. I read about you put puffy paint on the bottom of the socks, but it's is that really, how's it going to work with hand knit socks? How is it going to work with washing them? Is it going to be weird? But I'm going to have to Google that today, because I'd really like to give them to her today. She hasn't seen them yet, and I finished them while I was in the car this weekend, so So yeah, but last time you saw, I took off the marker because it was kind of pointless since I finished it. But last time you saw him, I was at like the third little paw. So yeah, I got all that done in the car. So that was really cool. Gotta love the car knitting. And the ribbing, I think I did a decent amount of ribbing since my own personal socks, I did like a half an inch of ribbing and they are terrible. They don't stay up, but that's okay. But I'll have to get a picture of us wearing our matching socks together because that'll be cute too. So those are done. And up next in the socks department, I think I'm going to try to cast on, or I'm going to swatch my Felicie in my probably Mosaic. Do those first. I'm going to swatch it in size 1s and see where we're at. See if I like it. Had a long conversation with a fellow group member, Comfrey Queen, about sock knitting, and she said she went through a phase where she just like swatched the heck out of everything. She washed it, she measured it, she determined everything to finally get that perfect number of what size needles, what stitch count, size of everything, so she could like sit down and just bang out a pair of socks for her feet now without any questions of fit. So yes, I need to figure that out. And my foot is awkward. It's very narrow. It's very long. So it's like, it's really narrow in the center. So it's like, but then it's like, it's wide around the heel and whatever, so it's like, I'm hoping I don't need to increase, decrease or anything, because that would be really annoying, but I think I just need a smaller needle. I might even need to go to zeros or double zeros, I don't know, which Amanda is supposed to be sending me, I think, a 0. With it's like got a long, like 24-inch cord, I think so I can maybe magic loop it. It was a 30-inch cord, I don't remember. Which I'm not a huge fan of magic loop, but I'll give it a try. I'd try out the zeros at least. At least for, it's not that I don't like magic loop, but just for socks and finer fingering, I feel like it's easier for me to see the gaps. Like the joins just aren't as, I don't know. I haven't done it in a while though, so let's try it again. But anyway, so there's my socks. I worked a little bit on my shawl. This is kind of, I've deemed my karate project. I would take it to karate to work on. But I missed it. I forgot it the one day of karate, and we only go 2 days. So I am actually at the part. So there's my little marker telling it really looks like I didn't get anything done. But to be honest, I'm at the part where I'm going to do another ridge, and then I'm going to start the lace part, which finally it'll just break it up. However, I did find a spot where I dropped a stitch at one point, and I picked it back up, and apparently I picked it up backwards, so I have to go in and try to fix that, because I have like a purl bump just hanging out in the middle of nowhere, right over here, which you don't really need to see it, but it's not like anyone would notice. But if I get there, and I'm going to try to fix it. And this is my Love Knots Gradient Purple yarn. So you can see it's definitely, it's coming out kind of, it's kind of like a bluish purple. Don't look for more blue, but there's a gradient in there. It's almost stripy. Kind of looks like it got light and then it got dark again and then it got light. And like we got light, then dark, then a little bit light, and then it's getting really dark. So be interested what this looks like when it's done. Hopefully I like it. If not, I'm really not against pulling it out and doing something else, but hopefully once the lace part gets going, it'll go a little faster. We shall see. And that is the Spearmint Tea shawl. Some other works in progress. I've been making, so I've decided to make little hearts out of all my hand spun, just little, samples. So anything I spin, if I got enough at least, I'm gonna make a heart. So my very first heart I made was using a pattern that I just didn't like. Just did not like it. It was just, the wording just confused me. I'm not a bad knitter, but this pattern made me feel like I was a terrible knitter. And I ended up reaching out to some of my VKN friends, and Mandy Pinecone walked me through it, and I still screwed it up, but But this one is my favorite just because of the material, to be honest. But this pattern is terrible. But so here is one. If you're on Instagram, you already saw this. But this is my hand spun, like straight from the sheep hand spun, because this is my Rommel Dale CAVM I had gotten from Fiber Festival, which I washed those. What did I do with that? Where did I go? Oh, there you are. I washed the Rommel Dale. And it was tricky to wash. I washed it I soaked it twice, and then I came back and there was a big chunk that just still didn't look clean. So I soaked it a third time, and still parts of it still seems a little greasy in spots. But I'm just gonna go with it at this point. I'll soak the yarn when it's spun, and you know, it looks clean. It just feels a little greasy. And I don't know, maybe it's just this fleece. I have no idea. I don't really know what I'm doing enough yet. But anyways, I'm still pretty content with it. But this is a couple locks of the washed. And this is like the coolest part of it. So most of it is this dark brown. Like 90% of it, or even darker than this, actually, a dark brown. Yeah, look at so like this dark brown. But then there's a big chunk that's just white-ish silver, like this grayish white. And then there's a chunk that's like this, and this is my favorite because it's like totally like two-toned. So, you know, this and I posted a picture of this too, I think on Instagram, but, you know. Yeah, see, there's still some dusty stuff coming out of there, but it's okay. But, you know, I just kind of flick this out. And this thing looks just so cool. I might want to comb this outside. But look how pretty this is. And so I just floofed out a couple of these. And on a couple of the brown ones. And I spun them up. And then so literally, this was it. This was like the whole, I didn't have any left. Maybe I had like a tiny piece. Maybe I have a tiny piece left. I don't know what I did with it. But there's like literally like not much left. And then I just joined it all together randomly, like random color pieces, because like I said, some of them were like white, some of them were dark brown, some of them were these multis. And then I plied it, just two-ply. Did I two-ply it or chain? I think I chain-plied it just to make sure I wasn't wasting anything. I need to write these things down when I do it. It might be in my Instagram notes. So I chain-plied it. I'm pretty sure I did. And just came up with this tiny little, you know, it's like we're talking like a gram, maybe. Oh, and yeah, I even stuffed it with the leftover yarn that I had. But yeah, I knit it up and kind of made this weird little stripey kind of chunk in there, and it just looks so cool, and I just love the colors. And here's the problem I'm having with these raw locks. It's coming out, and I guess it's a problem, but it's not a problem. It's spinning like so fine. So this is like, you know, light fingering, you know, fingering. It's pretty thin, and I knit this with, I don't remember now. I don't remember either. 1.5, whatever I had. I think they were the 1.5s because I don't think I had the ones out. But anyways. So, and it's fine. But, this is just cool. I just think it's so cool that it came like straight from this. And I processed it from dirty sheep to this. So even, you know, it's even just a little bit cooler than when you buy your fiber. So then I moved on to this one, which I really like this one too. This was my leftovers when I did my fractal spin, and I showed you last week the big rainbowy fractal thing. Hank, skein, whatever. So I had a little bit left on one bobbin, because, you know, of course, trying to get equal bobbins is practically impossible. You always have a little left over. So I had just a little bit left over, and I chain plied it to try to keep the colors together. So, I mean, you can see in a few spots where the colors overlapped. You know, there's some blue in the yellow here's, this was really better to see in the back here. There's blue and the yellow like across the top. But in general, it pretty much, it maintained, you know, this, it makes stripes. And, you know, almost looks like it kind of gradiates into the stripes a little bit. So this was literally all that was left of that. So I used up this exactly. I think I had to alter the pattern a little bit and not put as many spaces between the increases and decreases. And this is a different heart pattern. This one was easier. This one pretty much, it was kind of built the same at the bottom. Where that one is, you split it and started knitting one side, and then you picked it up and knit the other side. This one, you knit it up around and increased, and then you did a few decreases, and you kind of essentially made like a triangle. And then you took the tail and like divoted down and pulled down to form it. Kind of like my cat, actually. That was the same with the cat. You make like your little tube, and then you kind of pull it down to make the ears. So that's pretty much exactly how this worked, and this was just, it was just an easier pattern to follow. So, and frankly, it's just easier to do it that way. You're not breaking your yarn or anything. So that was that heart number 2. And then so this was my, and that was done in size 6s, I think. And this was one of the older hand spuns, and this was kind of one of my sample bits that I got. Tricky to hold on to. But anyway, so this one probably could have went down a needle size, but I just used the 6s again, but you can see it's a little stretched out there, but whatever. These are just for me. These are just for fun. But, you know, same heart pattern. This I think was I made on the spindle. It's pretty even for the most part. The yarn, at least. Pretty happy with that, but it shows off what I made. So I got my 3 hearts, and that's what I'm going to do with all... I can't find anything. With all my hand spun. So I'm going to take a bit of this and do that one. Got this one, which is like my first plied yarn. And then this one, I think, I want to, but I feel like I maybe can make something small out of this one. I don't know. I think I'll just make the heart. That's fine. And then I got this one. Because, I mean, these are all such small quantities. I really just can't do anything substantial with them. And then I got this one, which is the one I dyed myself, which is kind of funky. And I got some other ones that I got larger quantities of, but so some of them, I guess maybe for these, since they're like my first hand spuns, I'll do it for sure. Maybe for some of the other ones that's like, okay, I'm getting better at it, they're all looking kind of similar, I'll knit something first, and then if I have leftovers, then I'll make the heart. So, but for these odds and ends that I don't really know what I'm going to do with anyways, might as well knit some hearts. So I gotta figure out what I'm doing with all this fiber. Like, am I gonna sit here and hand comb it all like this, flick out the ends, and you know, that's what I've been doing with the first batch, but it's time consuming, you know. I got a whole pound of it. This is like a 90th of it or something, I don't know, more or less. So, I don't know. Kim from Chasing Acorns, she has some hand carders, she has a drum carder, so we did mention maybe getting together and having a play date, essentially, with all our fibery things, but I don't know, but spinning right from this is pretty cool too. I'm in the process of making a hackle out of hair picks. Yeah, that brush always gets me too. Out of, yeah, hair combs and a piece of wood. Because I would like to maybe make some, just diz out some roving or comb top or whatever it's called. I don't know. I just read a whole conversation this morning on the spinning group that I'm in about the difference between all the fiber preparation. So whatever it is, I wanted it a thin strip of material that I can spin from, because I mean, I can obviously spin from each lock like this, you know. I can make it into a little kind of roll-lag style and spin from a tube. Or I think you can kind of just spin it from the side, but it feels kind of tricky when I do that. When I do that, I feel like I don't get it as even as I'd like. But I don't know. So those are my finished objects. I kind of went into spinning, but those are my finished objects. Oh, and totally forgot to talk about my other stash that I wrote down. But anyways, since we're into spinning, I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I had sent away, again through my spinning group I'm on in Facebook. This lovely woman was leaving the farm to go be with her granddaughter that is going to be born. I don't know if she's been born yet or just born now, whatever. Like, basically she was leaving, and she raises Cormo sheep. And since we were doing, you know, she just, I don't know how it even came up, but she's like, hey, anyone who sends me a self-addressed stamped envelope, I will stuff it with Cormo and send it to you for free. And she usually sells the stuff, and the stuff usually sells between, you know, $15 to $20 a pound. So it's a quality, and apparently hers is really good quality, because looking at it, it's gorgeous. So I got my package, so I got 10 ounces, so what is that? I don't know, a lot. 10 ounces is still quite a bit of raw Cormo. Of course, it needs to be washed, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's just, it's all intact. And I did take off a small piece and I hand washed it, and it, oh boy, it floofs up like no tomorrow. So it's gonna be tricky to wash because it just like kind of expanded. So I need to wrap it into like some tulle, which I might run to the store and pick up some tulle today. Get a yard of tulle so I can make little tulle pockets. But I mean, it's a lovely, lovely fleece, and it turns white. I mean, it's kind of creamy colored with a little dirty tip right now, but it turns snow white in the wash. And yeah, all I did was soak it in the hot water for not very long. Kind of rub the tip a little bit with my finger, which I wouldn't with all this, because I'll probably just let it soak then for you know, an hour or something instead of like 10 minutes. I was kind of, it was right before I left on Friday, so I was just like, I just want to see a piece of it clean. And then I spun it, and again, I had the issue with like, it's super fine. Like, I guess that's good, but it's like, what if I want to make a thicker yarn? Like, I'm not really sure how to make thick yarn anymore, and that was kind of the joke. Like, embrace it when you're a newbie, because you're making this thick, chunky stuff. Because once you get used to, because you're always like, when you start, you're like making it all chunky. You're like, I want to make like thin yarn, and then you get the hab into the, you know, technique of getting it thinner even, and then going back to thick and chunky is like impossible. So I still have to wash the Leicester long wool, and I gotta wash this, and but I need a better method. I washed the Rommel Dale, and I did it in like these small bins, and I did have it like tool lined, so I gotta pick up the packet and move it. But it took a long time, and I don't know, it was just still a little awkward, so I think I need to put it back in the big, like when I washed the BFL I put it in a giant Rubbermaid bin. Problem with that was it was hard to carry to dump. But it was big and roomy, and I could stick the whole thing in there. Like the Rommel Dale, I was sectioning off, like I had 3 bins full. So I think I'll go back to the Rubbermaid bin. I will do the tool packets, set them in there, and do it that way instead. I think that'll be better. So hopefully this week I'll get to wash that. I don't know what to do. I might just have to leave it for a while. I might have to leave these two until I figure out what I'm doing with the BFL and the Rommel Dale, because I have 2 bags sitting next to my spinning wheel, like 2 shopping bags with the clean fleece in there, and then I have a bin that's full of like a flicked comb, so like flicked locks. So I got a bunch of these from the BFL sitting in a bin that's full, and so it's like, I think I'm at like 3 ounces. It's only at like 3 ounces, and I have like 20 ounces of this stuff. So I literally have a bin like this big of fluffy wool, but it's only 3 ounces. It's not even a whole 4 ounces. It's like, you know, ideally if I get to 4 ounces, then I can spin it and know ideally that it should be a hank of yarn, like a full, like it should give me a decent yardage. I don't know, it's all learning. So so finished spinning. So again, on Instagram I kind of explained this one a little bit, but here's my here's my finished yarn, and it's a little sparkly. I don't know if you can see the sparkle at all. And this was just kind of another mixed random, weird. That color's pretty true. It's a raspberry. Not that color. Come on. Stop. Hello. Anyways, it's got some sparkle in it. But I started this on the spindle, and I started this during Tour de Fleece. Like, this was what was left on my, I still had this on my spindle at the end of Tour de Fleece. So we're talking, okay, it's been a month. And then so I didn't touch it for a while. And then I'm like, okay, well, I gotta get the stuff. I started getting in the fiber from, I got the red and green one from Jeanette. I got the one from Jen. And then I just bought the one at the Fiber Fest. So now I have like these 3 beautiful braids that I want to get to. But I'm like, I have to finish this first. I have to finish what's in this, on this, my spindle first, because I just want to get it done. However, I was also saying, if I started on the spindle, I'm going to finish it on the spindle. So I'm going to get all my singles on the spindle, and then I'm going to apply it on the spindle, right? Scrap's bothering me here. Did-do. And we're going to take a drink coffee too. So, I tried. I spindled on my VKNs, I spindled here and there. Every 2 seconds, bang, I'm dropping it. Bang, I'm dropping it. It's just getting too heavy. Then at one point I'm like, well, maybe I should take the singles off and then start again, do the rest. But it was like, it was kind of so close to being done. I still had like 6 or 7 little poofs, strips that I had ripped off and pre-drafted left. But it's like I'd only get through like 1 or 2 strips a night because it was just really slow process. So finally, was it Thursday? Last Thursday, I'm like, I'm done. It's just not fun anymore. It's just, it was not, and it's not, has nothing to do with the spindle or spindling, because that's still fun, but this was a particularly slippery kind of yarn or whatever, material, fiber, and I don't know, it just, I think it was just getting too heavy. It just wasn't working. I should have took it off earlier, and I should have done like I was gonna do. I was like looking at it, I'm like, it's getting kind of big, maybe I should take it off and then do the other half. But I left it, so I should have took it off and did the other half. That probably would have been smoother, because it probably would have gone a lot faster if the spindle was empty. Or it's just this fiber. It was definitely a bit tricky. So even when I was plying it, it kept breaking and stuff too. So I think it was just the fiber. But anyway, so I said, we're done. Got on the wheel on Thursday. Ugh, I got fiber in my mouth. And I finished it. The rest of the singles, like within 30 minutes to an hour, maybe like 30 minutes probably. And then later that day, I plied it. So it was done within a day after I'd been spinning out on the spindle for like a month. Obviously not daily, but so it's done. I haven't counted the yards. I do need to re-skein it on the Niddy Noddy too, because I still haven't figured it out why I do this so much, but it's like I lose track of where I am, and then I go back the other way or something, or I just miss a loop, so now it's like there's this weird loop in here that doesn't belong. So, and you know, it's good to re-skein it after you wash it. So this is pretty much straight out of the wash and hang in the dry. So re-skein this. I need to calculate, I need to get some tags or something to tag these things, because I have all these random things of hand spun now that I don't know what they are, and I don't know how much yardage is on there. So put it on the to-do list. I need to get some tags, or make some tags or something, just so I can tag everything, just so I at least know the yardage. I really don't care what it is. It's wool. That's all I really feel like I need to know. I probably, it's wool, and most likely it's not superwash. I know I have one that is superwash, but I'm sure I'm not going to wash it anyways, because I don't wash anything except for sometimes socks, and that's only if I really know they're superwash or they're washable socks. So I just want to know the yardage though, because then when I start looking at projects, I'm like, oh, how much did I have again? I don't remember. So, but that was my finished spinning. I haven't spun anything else since, besides the little bit for the heart and like the one little lock of Cormo that's hanging out on the wheel right now. That's super duper fine, and it's literally like one piece like this, so it's like not going to do anything. I can't do anything with it. So, so I was knitting, that was spinning. Oh, no. Boy, I'm all over the place. I went straight from my knitted hearts into my spinning, and so we're back to knitting. So, working on my blanket. Hopefully I'm not losing any stitches. Oh, we seem to be okay. I really need to get not double pointed size 2s for this, because yeah, I keep dropping my stitches off one end or the other. But I got a mid square too, so. But I worked on my sock yarn blanket. I got my minis from Fiber Addiction at the Fiber Fest, so I got those on. I want to say I showed you the pink one. Did I have the pink one last time? I think I did, but these are from my Paw Track socks. So I'm pretty sure I showed you that. So then these are the Fiber Addiction. So we got this cool green, and these look great. I just love these. I love this one. This one I need to go to her Etsy store and see if I can maybe snag one of these. Because this one is just awesome. I really love it. It's like black and bright pink and teal and like just cool colors. And this one's of course just fun and green. But blanket's coming along. I gotta figure out how long I want to make it. So, and then this one's gonna be like the orangey. Got some, yeah, all sorts of colors in there, but it's kind of orangey, browny, and then there's pink and blues and purples and stuff. So, I was just too tired last night. I was gonna try to finish that last night before I went to bed, but I was exhausted. So that is all the crafting I have this week. So I will just kind of chit-chat for a few minutes, and we're at 40 minutes. So yeah, I'll just chit-chat for a few minutes. Famous last words. About my weekend. And then we will let you go. So this weekend, let's see what this week. I don't think anything really happened this week. Just same old stuff, karate, blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. But this weekend, this has been planned for quite some time, I was scheduled to help my friend shoot a wedding. So this is like the fourth or fifth wedding I've done. It's stressful. It's fun, but it's stressful. I'm in charge of, photographing someone's most precious day, one of the most important days in people's lives, their wedding. Cannot be recreated, and here I am responsible for capturing these pictures, and they better be good. And it's a lot of work. I mean, people are like, oh gosh, have fun, you're going up north. Yeah, okay, so it was up north, so we had to drive up on Friday, and I came home yesterday, so my poor husband was alone with the kids all weekend, which I can't feel too sorry for him, because I spend every day with these kids all day long. He's like, aren't you gonna say thank you for watching the kids? Like, thanks? I mean, what? Like, I mean, I'm very thankful he took care of the kids, but anyways. So we left on Friday, and we went to the Traverse City area. So if you are familiar with Michigan, it's about 3 hours from here, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I love it up there. I just love it up there. It's like one of my favorite places to go. It's beautiful. And then the reception was at a golf course that was overlooking Torch Lake, which is like one of the most beautiful lakes up there too. It's just crystal clear water, blah blah. So every time I tell, oh, I'm going up to Traverse City, and I post a couple pictures of like the sunset and whatever, like, oh, I hope you're having a good time. I'm like, if I was on vacation, I'd be having a great time, but we're working, so that was just kind of the running joke. It's like, well, I'm working. So we shot some pictures on Friday of the rehearsal, and that was good, just to kind of get familiar with what was gonna go down for the actual day. And then and that was Friday. So then Friday night we went over to the beach for a minute and had dinner, just me and my friend. And had a pretty cool dinner. It was a kind of uppity restaurant that had small portions, but they were good. That it was a little. We ended up getting dessert because we were like, okay, we're still hungry. So then Saturday we got up and had breakfast, and then around noon we had to get started, but we started a little early, kind of scouting out where we want to go, where we're going to take the bride and groom, you know, where we wanted to take pictures of the dress. And, you know, she takes the brunt of the pictures, of course. I'm kind of camera 2, back up. Well, originally she was going to come with me to go kind of check on the groom and stuff because, you know, again, I'm just not quite there yet. You know, I'm not that confident quite with the the fast-paced photography. You know, it's like one thing when you have time to think and set your camera and whatever, but when you're doing stuff on the fly, it's just like, I'm just not quite there yet. But we were running so behind. She's like, you just gotta go over there. I'm like, ah, crap. Which was fine. And she's like, just don't worry about too much formal stuff. Just, you know, get some candids and try to get him and his family. So I did. I got some, and they were in this tiny, tiny little condo type room. So it's like, I literally got a couple shots of them standing around, fixing their flowers. And then we went outside and I took pictures of them just kind of hanging around chatting, and then took pictures of the groom and his parents. Just kind of with some trees in the background. So hopefully those turned out fine. But she did end up taking extra pictures of the groom and his parents later. So, which is good because I'm pretty sure mine turned out fine, but just better safe than sorry. And she had the chance to do it, so she did it. So that was good. And then, yeah, I didn't really worry about anything else. And then I had to take the groom over to do the first look. So the bride and groom saw each other before the ceremony. So then I took them over there, and then she took the bride, and then they did their first time seeing each other for the day, and tried to snap some pictures there. And then for the most part, I was just the assistant, holding reflectors and doing that stuff for a while until the ceremony. And then the ceremony came, and we just click, 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 click. But, you know, she's getting all angles, I'm getting all angles. So, but, you know, ideally, again, my photos are kind of just like back up. If there's anything that happens to be really cool in there, she'll throw it in there. But, and then for the rest of the day, it's just candids, reception, dancing, you know, like people. And that I do pretty good at. I think I got some really good ones at the reception, dancing and stuff like that. And just people milling about and stuff. So that's kind of my thing. I don't like to get in people's way. I don't really like to feel like I'm stalking people, you know. It's like I just want to stand back and pretend I'm not there, you know. So, but we didn't finish up until 10 o'clock. So it was a 10-hour day, 10 plus, you know, because we started a little earlier than noon. But, and yeah, cameras are heavy. She had 2 of them going. She had this weird, crazy, like, harness that held one camera on each side. And these cameras are heavy with these big lenses on it and stuff too. So, and I had the one, and it was just like, I mean, it's like a 6-pound camera or something with the lenses on it, and you know, so I was pretty much spent. And of course, we didn't get lunch. We ate breakfast. We didn't really get lunch because there just wasn't time. And then we didn't eat dinner until everyone else was done eating dinner. So it's like, you know, 7 o'clock. So luckily I snagged a couple of Pepsis from the bar because I just needed something to tide me over. But and then I snagged a beer on the way out, which, you know, they didn't care, but it was like I just needed a drink. And then we went back to the room, had some wine, and just passed out pretty much. And then Sunday we were going to get up, and we were supposed to maybe take another quickie photo shoot for the bride and groom. They were going to try to do something in the water, but just didn't pan out. It was windy, and I think they were just ready to kind of pack up and go. They were going to go on their honeymoon. I think they were going camping. So yeah, we had to take the drive home. It rained like cats and dogs like halfway through our commute home, so it was a lot of traffic. You got all the people that were up north for the weekend coming home on Sunday, so didn't get home until about 5 or 4:30, 5 o'clock. And then as soon as I got home, we kind of hemmed and hawed and then got through something easy. We did bagels for dinner or something, you know, ridiculous. And I had leftover pancakes from breakfast. All of a sudden, this tornado siren goes off and our weather radio goes off. And usually when, you know, these things, the weather radio goes off, it's a thunderstorm warning, whatever. And usually, like, our city, Lake Orion, isn't really, it's like, okay, surrounding areas are always, like, you know, take cover. But this time, it was like, this was like the center of everything. So, like, all right, well, so I'm like, oh, I should get my car in the garage. And the garage was, like, kind of in shambles. So I, like, threw everything against the wall and got my car in the garage. And then Jim got the kids down in the basement, and we sat in the basement for like half an hour, and it really just passed. It was nothing. we didn't get anything. Like not even rain really. It sprinkled for like 2 seconds, and then the rain came later. Like when we were laying down to go to bed, it was raining, but luckily it was nothing. So, but usually we don't do that. Usually we don't have to go take cover, you know. But we figured better safe than sorry. We'll just go hang out downstairs. Hang out the cats. So, so yeah, that was our weekend, and so I just feel like I've been hit by a bus this morning. It's a lot of stress on the body, and but it was fun, and hopefully my pictures turn out okay. She's got all the cards. Sometime this week I'm gonna go pick up all the files so I can look at them myself too. Of course, she's responsible for doing everything with them, but I just want to see. I want to see what I did, what I got. I want to see what she did too. So just to learn, you know. So that was that. It wasn't a bad weekend. It was a good weekend. It was just a tiring weekend. I missed my family. They went to my in-laws' house, kind of their cottage, their lake house, whatever we want to call it, for the weekend. And the kids weren't great. I guess they kind of weren't behaving themselves very well, but back to the normal routine. So with that, I think that's all I got. So hope everyone has a good week, and happy crafting, whatever you do. And I will see you next time. Bye.